I'm Lisa Garza. I'm director of the Career Connection Center. Thank you for having me. This is my first time doing this here at TWU, so just tell me what you need from me. Do I just start going through the budget line by line, or what would you like me to do?
That would be perfect.
Okay. And I think I have, okay, so I do have exactly what you all have. So if we start with the programming section, promotional items, we use these for any kind of outreach that we're doing. So we do that for campus outreach tables, info tables. We do that for any kind of orientation tables, Pioneer Preview Days, and we are at all of those events. So it's really important for our office to be reaching out to current students as well as prospective students in numerous ways. So we do get lots of questions from prospective students and parents about how TWU is going to help them be successful after graduation in terms of employment. The promotional items are just a nice touch to help them remember us when they come to the table. We did have some t-shirts this year also. We still have some of those left. So those are all throughout the year. Printing covers any kind of ads, posters that are hung up, flyers that get handed out. At some of the different events we have, we might have a packet of information. So we do an informational seminar, for example, on resume writing. So we might have a packet of information that we want the students to leave with. So that goes into the printing cost there. And then some lasso ads. As far as the seminars, I know Briley, you did such a good job, by the way. Thank you so much. We do, I think it's about 16 or so just career readiness seminars in one semester. So you got to think of just the handouts needed for those. And that's not including additional targeted programs and other collaborative programs we're doing with other areas. So all of those could need handouts depending on the event. Room charges is not too much, but this would be the cost for tables or chairs to be delivered if we're doing an outreach table or an info table in a different building. Sometimes on the other campuses there could be a charge. And this is for all three campuses. Let me just say that too. The total that I'm looking at here is for programs and services in all three campuses. So that could be if we're doing an info table in Dallas and we needed someone to deliver or set up a table, there may be a charge. Food is the highest cost here, so this could be anything from a cookie tray at a program. It could be waters, Cokes, coffee, and snacks at an open house. It could be pizza at a what do I want to do with a major in kind of event. It really varies. But we have a lot. So we have a lot of programs planned already, and even more so going into the next year that could require food, and as you all know, students really appreciate that, and sometimes that can help get them there a little bit more. So that's the food cost there. And like I said, I made a comment, I think, most of these events are new, so we're still planning them. So you'll see a little bit more even this spring semester than we did this past fall, and that'll continue on. So as we've gotten staffed up, we've been able to really increase our capacity for programming, and that'll only continue as we go forward. Should I just keep going? Do you all have questions?
Well, okay. I just have a follow-up question. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you would know, you're talking about more or less having almost all new programs for the fall. Mm-hmm. So could you speak to a percentage increase in the number of programs maybe from last year to this year?
Sure, let me get my chart. So I know Briley spoke to the attendance, and you heard that. So I'll just reiterate that again for all of FY16. So that was fall 2015, spring 2016, summer 2016. The total attendance at the events was about 2,200. Just fall 17 alone was 33, I think cut off here, 33, 36, I think. So that's only campuses. Attendance on all campuses. Attendance only. So in terms of programs, I'll give you a couple of examples. So career readiness seminars we've always done, okay? But we've increased the number. So again, all of FY 2016, we had 13 what we would consider career readiness seminars. So that would be something like resume writing, how to interview, things like that. So we had 13 of those in FY 16. Just this fall, we had 16. And we'll have at least 16 for spring, so it's more than double the number that we had last year. So that's one example. Class presentations. So FY16 and before, class presentations, student org presentations, and collaborative career programs were all kind of reported together and counted together. So for FY16, we had a total of 15. Just fall, again, we had 63 class presentations, 7 student org presentations, and then 10 what we would consider collaborative career programs. Am I answering your question?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a couple more. I'll give you just one more example of more a service. So career advising is a one-on-one service usually. So students can make an appointment and come in to meet with a career advisor, a career consultant, if you will. They can also come in through drop-ins, which we have daily. So all of last year we had 182 sessions, if you will. This fall we had 548 sessions.
So one of the items that was kind of an irritant last year to the Student Service Fee Committee was how long a student might have to wait to talk with someone about career advising. Mm-hmm. So I wondered if you might just generally talk about your coming to TWU and kind of what you've done in terms of addressing that.
Sure. When I started in March, it was about a 2-month wait. When I came for my interview in January, it was a 2-month wait. So that was pretty consistent. So one of the very first things we did was establish walk-in hours, drop-in hours. There needed to be a way, even though we weren't fully staffed yet, even going into summer, we needed a way that students could come in and immediately get some quick answers. And a lot of times what we find is students will make an appointment for something that really can be answered in a quick 15-minute drop-in. Okay, so we immediately instituted drop-ins. And we started it with just 3 days a week, and then once we got fully staffed up for the fall, we expanded it to 5 days a week, and then we also were able to bring it outside of our office because we know students aren't always going to come to the HDB building. So we expanded that to Pioneer Hall currently and CFO currently, and then hopefully the ASB building once that space is renovated. So now I think for an appointment, during the busy time, which would be right around advising time, the longest somebody's had to wait is maybe a week and a half, maybe. And that's not in all cases. So for the most part at this point, because we're still getting the word out, we're still getting students used to the fact that they can come in and take advantage of these great services. For the most part, a student, as long as their schedule permits and it can link up with the career consultant, they can get in within a matter of a couple of days. So I think we've hopefully satisfied that stipulation.
Yes.
Okay, and then as far as I can just speak to the presence while we're talking about the stipulations. So we hired the Dallas career consultant, Hamaria Crockett, and she is fantastic. So I keep getting really good reports, and I've been there and I've seen it in person. I've seen the students know her. I've seen that the faculty and staff know her. So she's doing a really good job meeting people and really digging in to find out what the needs are in terms of career related stuff, if you will, for the students on that campus. So that's been a huge success. Houston, we're not quite there yet. We've had, unfortunately, 2 now failed searches. So we had an offer go out for a career consultant in late summer, and it was declined. And then we had another offer just go out before break, and that was declined by the candidate. So it's open. We're looking at candidates, and we'll hopefully start interviewing again. But based on the way things have gone in Dallas, and we've learned a lot this past fall, I think we'll be able to ramp up much quicker once we do have a person in Houston. So I'm really optimistic on that. Okay, so just going on to the non-programming services. Non-event printing could be general services, flyers or brochures, things like that. That could be something that maybe we have at an info table or have available in our office in our brochure rack. So not necessarily for a certain program, just things that we have on hand for information. Non-event postage is minimal. I think I put 100 there. I think it was $75 or $80 last year. So that's minimal. Non-programming food is really more in-office stuff. So we have in-office like candy, mints, things like that available. And then a lot of staff meetings, training events for our staff. That's our full-time and our student assistant staff. You can see the phone there, the insurance, the utilities. We don't, on utilities, just a note, we don't have a current copier lease. We have a very, very old, not a great copier. So this works in a new copier lease. So hopefully we'll be able to get that going soon. Staff shirts, and we don't currently have staff shirts. We want staff shirts, so that's what that is. Office supplies. what you would think of for office supplies. Membership, so we have quite a few professional associations that we are members of. We get a lot of great professional development information there, good benchmarking information, survey information, what's happening on other campuses, what the hot topics and trends are, and these memberships really help with that. Registrations is speaking specifically to professional development conference registrations, any other kind of professional development, webinars, trainings, things like that. And we do have some staff in our office who are credentialed in different ways. So if you're a GCDF, which is a Global Career Development Facilitator, you have certain continuing education hours that you need to complete. So we don't cover the cost of the credential or the license, but we do like to provide for as much opportunity for the professional development as we can. And then we also do have a couple of staff in our office who are credential counselors. So anytime we can get the professional development opportunities in front of them and provide that for them, we'd like to do that. Books and reference materials, minimal. You can see that there. Furnishings and equipment. It's miscellaneous things, name tags, binders, sign holders, things like that. I think we did need some new furniture this year. That'll be less going forward because we're pretty much staffed up, and we've done a lot of changes in our office, and there's more coming. So that should be about right. That's an estimate there. Computer equipment, maintenance software. This is a big one for us. So things like Optimal Resume, TW Connect, those are pretty high dollar software programs, and it's based on an annual license cost. Okay, and I can speak to those a little bit more specifically if you want. And then I do want to make one note though. So if you're comparing last year to this year, or this year to next year, so for the 2016-17 year, our M&O line was 75. So this year, it's 75,194. So what I'm proposing here is 55. So it's quite a bit less. Okay, so I think we are learning that we are able to do more with less. So just wanted to note that. Travel is more. So travel is a little bit more than it was this year, just because we have more staff. So we have more staff, and we're looking at more professional development, so that number needs to increase accordingly. And you can see the conferences there that I mentioned. And then the wages is actually a teeny tiny bit less than it was for this year. So really overall, when you look at our total request compared to what we have this year, the total request is actually a little more than 16. The total request for M&O, travel, and wages is about 16,000 less than it is this year. But then we're also asking for the secretary. Okay, so the overall increase for us would be about 18,853, which is a pretty good bargain for a secretary. We need it, so we've really increased. So when I started, I was the third full-time staff member in the office. So we brought it already up to 9, hopefully soon to be 10, and we've really expanded our programs and services. I'm happy to continue doing what I need to do to make it work, but it would be extremely helpful for us to get some secretarial support. So that's why we have that request.